Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgia and I am a yoga teacher. Today I would like to talk a little bit more about Balasana, child's pose. I bet you heard of this pose if you are practicing either yoga or Pilates. Well, if you are interested to know more about this pose, please unroll your mat and follow me. Let's practice. So you might have heard about Balasana because we are actually practicing it quite a lot and it looks very comfortable to you and it's really relaxing. But unfortunately, there are some people who would not think the same. Yes, because there is no universal pose and Balasana is no exception to that. Everybody is different and therefore we can find some variations, some options that could make Balasana more comfortable for us, or we can find alternative poses to Balasana if you cannot practice it. Let's see what happens in Balasana. When you are in Balasana, some things are going on with your body. We are actually sitting on the ground, probably starting with our hips on the heels and our knees to the ground, and we are lowering our body towards a mat, placing the palms in front of us, maybe placing even the forearms to the ground, then the forehead goes towards the mat itself, maybe touching the mat. What is actually going on is that we are lengthening our spine, we are relaxing our shoulders, we are extending our arms in front of us. We are doing a lot of things and we are also taking an inversion. Yes, when you are taking Balasana, you are inverting because the head is below the heart line. So it might not be so comfortable for everybody for different reasons. Some modifications that do not require props are quite common, and maybe you have heard of them. For example, you can take Balasana with knees together, even if the teacher is cueing to having the knees open. Because maybe the intention of the teacher is to stretch the inside of your thighs or your groin. But if you have lower back issues, always remember that placing the knees together could be offering some kind of support to your lower back. So do not hesitate to modify. The second thing is that if the teacher says that your knees must be together, that's not completely true. Maybe it's a very traditional form of Balasana. But if you're, for example, some kind of uneasiness in being with your knees together, you can take knees wider and then placing your body as you would place it if you had the knees together. Okay. Always remember that your knees don't have to be together, don't have to be divided. You can decide what to do with your knees according to your body and to the sensations of your body during a certain day. The same can be said for your hips. Hips go toward the heels, but it doesn't mean that they have to touch the heels. They can stay up. One problem that could actually come up during Balasana is that we have some knees issues and this position is actually very uncomfortable. The uneasiness in the knees could be relieved with a blanket placed under the knees. And this kind of padding could be very useful. The blanket could be even useful if you wanted to roll it up, or if you have a cushion or a pillow and you could place it here between the back of the thighs and your shins. And therefore you don't place as much pressure on your knees and hips as you would without the blanket. Now, we have seen the back. Let's talk about the forehead. So the forehead goes towards the mat. Does it have to touch the mat? No. There could be a couple of issues here. One is a preference. That is to say, some people don't want their forehead to touch the mat because the feet have been on the ground or because the mat is too close to the ground, it could be dirty. And therefore, what you could do is just find some kind of options here. For example, placing the forearms under the forehead, like this. If it is not enough, you can always use blocks. Either one block, or you can change the height of the block, or if you prefer to use 2 blocks, one on top of the other, that's up to you. If you do not have blocks, but you have books or anything just resembling blocks, then use those under your forehead, like this. To the same effect is another arms variation in the pose. If you bring the arms behind instead of to the front, placing your hands with your feet and just relaxing the shoulders a little bit more here, and the forehead is not touching the ground actually. So no props, but you reach the same effect. Why should you not want to touch the forehead to the ground? Or better said, you don't want your head to go below your heart. You don't want to do an inversion. That could be for several physical problems. A couple are very common. One is gastric reflux, that is this kind of gastric acids coming into your mouth. That is very, very unpleasant. The other physical issue that you could have is kind of sinuses inflammation, and that is very unpleasant. I suffer from that, and so I don't like when in Balasana my forehead is to the ground and I feel this kind of pressure in my forehead. So having the blocks handy, or books, or placing my forehead to the forearms, well, it actually helps a lot and it makes a hell of a difference in doing the pose. We have spoken about the physical intention of the pose a little bit, but there is also some kind of spiritual intention, let's say mental intention. We want to relax in the pose maybe, we want to reconnect with our breath. But Balasana is not comfortable for me. So how can I do the same, that is, reconnect with the breath or reconnect with the self, or just relaxing for some breaths during the, let's say, Vinyasa flow I'm in? Well, you take another pose, a different one, which is relaxing to you. I can think of a couple of options, maybe 3, but maybe you have your own relaxing pose, and you can leave any suggestion in the comment below if you like. So let's say instead of Balasana, you can be on your belly, placing the top of the feet to the ground and opening the feet as much as you like. And then placing the forearms again, one on top of the other, and the forehead on the forearms. It's kind of crocodile pose, and you relax here, and you breathe. This is one option. The other 2 options are actually with the back on the ground. So you lower yourself down, you bring the back of your skull to the ground. The back is solid on the ground. Your feet are on the ground, knees toward the ceiling. You can open up your feet as much as you like, for example, mat distance apart, and you let the knees go in. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't, and you stay here relaxing your arms by your sides, palms touching the ground or maybe towards the ceiling, and you breathe and you relax. And this is called constructive rest. If it is relaxing to you, then take it instead of Balasana. Another option I can think of is reclined Balasana, reclined child's pose. You bring your knees to the chest and you hug yourself. And stay here, or if you like, you can bring some slight movement to your back, up and down, right and left. And if this is relaxing to you, then take this instead of the traditional Balasana. Another useful props for practicing yoga is the chair, which is something that is readily available to us, for example, at home. We can still take Balasana even if we're practicing with the chair. And I will give you a couple of options here. if we still can kneel on the ground, maybe with some kind of support under the knees, you can lower your body down and place your forearm to the seat of the chair, and maybe grab the chair itself with your hands and still go down and place your forehead to the chair itself. In this way you are lengthening your spine, and it's very nice actually, because you can decide which is the distance which is better for yourself. Maybe it's further away and you are stretching more, or maybe it's a little bit closer to the chair and you're stretching a little bit less, but you are still relaxing and breathing here. Balasana with the chair. Another thing you could do with the chair is just sitting on the chair, placing your feet on the ground, and then lower yourself into your Balasana. Placing your upper body onto your thighs and knees, letting your arms and your hands go down, and if it is comfortable you can still have a nice stretch of your back and neck, letting the head go down as much as you like. If this is too much and it's not available to you, then you could use, for example, some kind of support. It could be a pillow or a bolster, and you still go down, you lower yourself, but of course you will not go as low as you would without the support, and you let yourself go. And the pillow, the bolster, whatever you're using will support you, and you still get a nice stretch. And of course the support that you're using, the props, can be as tall as you would like to make it. So these are other options if you have a chair to still take your Balasana. Thank you for watching, and if you have found this video useful for you or for your students, well, please leave a like or leave a message, a comment in the box below. And I will see you next time.